So what are we going to get into today? Well, this one will be pretty interesting, I thought. I've been working on this one for a while. Okay, so what we're going to do is we're going to start a new series on deconstructing a bourbon and then reconstructing a bourbon. Okay, so in part one, we're going to deconstruct a bourbon. Okay, the goal is to taste the different flavors of the different grains by themselves, and maybe we can understand a little bit more about bourbon, which everybody knows is one of my favorite spirits. Okay, so you might ask, how are we going to do this? Well, first, as you know, most bourbons contain, well, they got to contain 51% corn, they contain barley, rye, and wheat. Okay, they don't have to have all, but sometimes wheat's in there, sometimes it's not. What we're going to do is we're going to mash in every one of those four ingredients by itself. Then we're going to ferment it by itself. And then what we'll do is we'll be able to taste each one of those grains and see what they taste like, and evaluate them. And then what we're going to do is, I got a list of what all the big guys do, of the percentages of the corn and the barley and the rye and that. And what we'll do is we will reconstruct the bourbon by their percentages. We'll do 4 different ones and put it on some oak chips, and I think it's going to be very, very interesting. Okay, it will take a couple videos to get this done. First things first, welcome to Stillworks and Brewing. My name is Randy, and this is the channel that's all about home distillation and brewing. Alright, now let's get started. Alright, so I think one of the first things we need to do is we need to know a little bit of history of bourbon. Bourbon is an American whiskey with a lot of history and traditions. It was named after Bourbon County in Kentucky. Bourbon has roots way back to the late 1700s when distillers started making a whiskey from corn and storing it in charred white oak barrels. And that's what gave it its color and its flavor. Of course, the bourbon rules. It has to be made with 51% corn, at least 51% corn. And the rest of it can be other grains like barley, wheat, and rye. And it has to be made in the United States. Yes. Okay, with some YouTube magic, let's deconstruct a bourbon. Corn. Some barley. Some rye. And some wheat. Here's all 4 of our ingredients, and what we're going to do is we're going to take each one individually. They are all proof to 110 proof, and that's where I left them. So let's taste each one and see what they taste like, and maybe help to describe. That's going to be pretty tough, but let's see. Oh, I can get the lid off. There we go. Alright, let's just, this is the corn, and like we always say, you got to have 51% corn for bourbon, at least 51%. It smells like corn liquor, which we've all had, I think we've all had, which is a beautiful smell. Corn usually helps bourbon taste kind of sweet, I think. Maybe, let's see what it tastes like. Ooh, I do like corn liquor. It's fantastic. Of course, it does have a little bit of a sweet taste to it. Maybe kind of a honey taste, maybe. It's definitely kind of creamy. I think it adds great taste. I love corn. Yes. It is very, very good. It's what you expect in bourbon. It might even have like a brown buttery taste. A little bit of a buttery taste maybe. Okay. Very good. Let's move on to the next. The next, let's move on to the barley. And I said before 110 proof. I'm sorry, I'm mistaken. It was 100 proof is what these all been proofed down to. I wrote it down, couldn't read my own writing. All right, so let's try a little bit of this barley. I mean, that's what a lot of your whiskeys are made from, you know, single grain barley, which is very good. What is the aroma? I can't place it. Maybe a hint of chocolate? It adds a little bit of a grainy taste. Yeah, a grainy taste, I would say. And maybe, like I said before, a hint of chocolate. Very delicious. No wonder I like bourbon so much. Everything's good so far. That is very interesting. I think the biggest flavor I'm getting out of is like a grain taste. Or what you'd think a grain taste would be. Okay. Very interesting. I mean, a lot of times we're using the barley for the enzymes that are in the barley, but you know, like say a single malt whiskey makes a fantastic whiskey. Okay. Okay, so our rye is next. Don't spill none. Let's try some rye. Now, I've always been told I think rye it's the spice of bourbon. I don't really get much nose off of it though. But I would like to say it's the spice or the pepper of bourbon. Yes, definitely. It's got a peppery taste. Some would say a spicy taste, but I'm saying a peppery taste. Gives it a little I think on the back of your tongue gives that little bit of a bite, which is very pleasant in bourbon. Yeah, this is going to be fun trying to mix these up, see what we come up with. Yes, so that's what I would say the rye is. It really adds a peppery taste. Okay, so now let's try some wheat. Now, wheat is not used in all bourbons, sometimes just a little bit. But, and then sometimes if you have like a wheated bourbon, which is very delicious. Okay. What is that? I think wheat usually mellows and softens the final product. I mean, I can smell a little bit, maybe a little vanilla. It does have a different aroma to it, and I can't really place it. Let's see what it tastes like. Yes, it's definitely very smooth and very smooth and mellow. I think it will mellow out a product if you use wheat in there. It does have a vanilla or a caramel taste to it. Yes. All right, but I will have to say, in fermenting these out, these were very, very, very simple. Pure rye, pure wheat, it was a pain in the ass. especially rye. It really, I mean, I did use rice hulls to try to keep it. It's a lot like doing oatmeal. Fantastic taste, but you got to work for it. I love oatmeal whiskey, but yes, it is a pain, and pure rye was a pain too. But it's well worth the taste, you know. Ooh, that is good. All right, so that's we deconstructed a bourbon. We got the main ingredients all separated. So it has been deconstructed. Okay, and so part two, what we're going to do is we're going to reconstruct this bourbon. Okay, I think it's going to be a lot of fun, and I hope it's interesting. Like I said before, so what we'll do is I got a list of, you know, like Maker's Mark and can't think right now. Maker's Mark, Woodford's, and a few others. I got 4 different grain bills that we are going to put, you know, 72% of this and 10% of that, or whatever it called for, and we'll put them together and put it on some oak and see what it tastes like. So that's going to be part 2. So you're not going to want to miss that. I have to ask, there's 5 things that you can do to really help this channel out. Subscribe, hit that notification bell, share us with your friends, give us a thumbs up, and please leave a comment, and we'll get back to you as soon as I can. So, I guess the last thing I got to say about this right now is, hey, thanks for stopping by, and we'll see you next time here on Stillworks and Brewing. Cheers, everybody.